Hello, good evening, and thanks for your time. This is news at 10 on TV3 and 3FM 92.7. We're live from the News Hub in Kanda in Accra. You can get interactive with us on our social media pages, Facebook and Twitter on News at TV3. Let's begin the bulletin with the highlights of today's major news items. 4 persons are being arrested after chaos broke out during a news conference by the Abola Piamwe at Gamashi in Accra following threats by the Royal House to install a new Garmanche. According to the Abola Piamwe, it is the rightful clan to install a new Garmanche. And a quack doctor practicing at Covenant Clinic at Medina in Accra has been rearrested. Arimiao Adams is among the 19 quack doctors arrested and ordered by the Medical and Dental Council to stop operating. Electrical faults have been cited as a major cause of fire outbreaks in the country. Catherine Frimpoma reports for a price difference of 20 cedis, consumers will risk their lives to buy substandard electrical cables. In business, the producer price inflation for September this year was 9.6%, representing a 1% increase from that of August. Acting government statistician Bawadia indicated the raise was as a result of increase in petroleum and gold prices between August and September. On the international front, Kenya's repeats presidential election to take place Thursday as planned. Those were our major news highlights. Remember, we're live on 3FM 92.7 and you can get interactive with us as we're streaming live on Facebook and on 3news.com. Up next is the big one. Welcome back. Now, in order to be safe online, it is important for you and your kids to be aware of the dangers. However, there are a few reasons kids are often at risk. They may not always think about the consequences of their actions, which can cause them to share too much information about themselves. According to recent statistics, 86% of 7 to 11-year-olds and 96% of 11 to 19-year-olds are communicating online. For parents in the digital age, one of the most ever-present concerns is internet safety. How can you keep your children and teens safe online? Today, this means protecting their identities, keeping them safe from predators, and helping them avoid mistakes that will follow them into the future. There are many schools of thought. Will you install safety software, have regular conversations, or limit online time for your children? Which method is right for you and your family? Well, here to help us talk about child safety online is the director of J Initiative, Awo Amenya. Good evening, Ma'am, and thank you very much for your time. How are you?
Good evening.
Great. Now, in brief, tell me about the Child Online Policy Day under the Cyber Security Week of 2017.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity and good evening to your viewers. I'm pretty sure you saw COPD.
Yes.
So you assume it's child online policy.
I reckon.
Okay then.
But it's not.
COP is actually child online protection.
Protection, yes.
So when we say child online protection, basically is it's an ITU concept, which is targeted at trying to solve the challenges you spoke about in a moment. And ITU, being a promoter of internet, knows the dangers involved with children and young people being online. So basically that initiative is to put in place measures for safe and responsible use of the space, as well as procedures to pick up predators or pedophiles that might want to take advantage of young people within the space. And COP Day being part of the Cybersecurity Week, it's for me, it's a step in the right direction, in a sense that COP, or Child Online Protection, is one of the pillars of the government's national cybersecurity policy and strategy. And so for me, giving it prominence, giving it a day, is only emphasize the fact that it's important young people are catered for.
But tell me tell me the state of child online protection in Ghana as we are here already. I mean, before the COP Day, how is it like, really? Are children really safe online? Are there monitoring systems to be sure they're safe? Are we doing the right things?
Children, just as the adults, are not safe online. You and I are not safe when our children are not safe. So by extension, if a child is online and giving out too much information, obviously the family is at risk. So yes, what have we been doing? For some time now, we've been making the call for all stakeholders. We wouldn't say it's the responsibility of government alone, but it's the responsibility of us parents, the responsibility of teachers, it's the responsibility of other service providers, counselors, law enforcement, and everybody to ensure that children are safe online.
Do you get the impression the message is going down well? The relevant institutions, individuals, stakeholders, everybody's playing their role the way they're supposed to?
In fact, they are not playing the role the way they are supposed to. But then there's a starting point. And if we compare now to 3 years, 2-3 years ago,
we're far better off.
We are far better off. People are being responsive. People are getting to understand that it's important everybody does something to contribute to the bigger agenda of safety. So that is what I would say for now. In terms of the protection, most parents are still not comfortable about the space to start with.
I don't know. I'm smiling because
this morning we happened to issue a statement to the effect that it's important we have stakeholder dialogue on most of these things.
That's right.
I read in one of the newspapers this morning the communications minister alluding to the fact that she's going to make available mobile handsets for
tablets
senior
to make it
tablets.
possible. She's not making it possible, but she's saying that we need to start having the discussion of lifting some of the ban because of the technological age we're in. Children could have the chance to put their study materials on mobile devices and, you know, take off the load of books they carry and all of that. I thought that that's the beginning of the discussion, but you think there should be more to it than just...
In fact, it was exact position we stated in our statement earlier this morning, that it's important to have the discussion and have it dispassionately, because there's a school of thought that says children's access to the device is what is making them not to deliver in the classroom or getting us poor learning outcomes. And then the other school of thought says, okay, we're in the 21st century. You can't afford to do without devices. So how do we marry the two? And how do we ensure that we are getting the conducive space, or so to speak, an ideal space for our young people? That is the conversation. So it's important we engage
So
in
you say that's the beginning of the way forward?
Yes, it's the beginning.
And what else should we need to be doing for the way forward?
We change our mentality about so many things. And we also need to be supervising, especially at home. in the home, when you give the device to a child, what do you expect the child to do? What are the features you put on there? If we're going to buy a cell phone from maybe Vodafone, Tigo, wherever, do you ask for them to activate
certain things,
anti-spam platforms for you, so that you are sure your child is not straying to platforms that he or she does not need to stray into? In the classroom, when we teach them how to browse, beyond the browsing, what are some of the behavioral traits that they could pick up and apply online, so that when they encounter risk or a pop-up comes up, they will be able to navigate their way around it? So those are basic things that should form part of normal day life, which we call digital citizenship and literacy. So it's important for young people. Most of us adults do need it because of our lifestyle online.
Right.
Yes.
Awo Amenya, we're grateful for your time. Thank you extremely for your time. Awo Amenya is the director of J Initiative. And away from that, let's take you through some few statistics in connection with what we are discussing. So it says that it's important for us not to give out too much information, personal information, and you don't have to be sending pictures to strangers. As you can see, these are tips for cyber safety for both of us, adults and children alike, and you need to keep your passwords private. You don't have to tell an adult if you receive, you have to actually tell an adult if you receive a mean or strange message. And don't download anything without permission. So these are tips that you can follow to keep safe online, whether you're a child or an adult. I'm Stephen Anti. That's where we draw the curtain for the big one. We'll be right back with more news. Please don't go away. Welcome back. Now, the Inspector General of Police, David Asante Pietu, will address an Agile in Africa conference at the La Palm Beach resort here in Accra tomorrow as keynote speaker. Joining me in the studio is an enterprise Agile transformation consultant, coach, and trainer, Shokoya Ade, to discuss this whole issue of Agile in Africa. Good evening, sir. Thank you extremely for coming. So tell me about this Agile conference and the Scrum. What is it all about?
Yeah, so basically, Agile in Africa is in its third year. It was a conference that was started by visionary Nana Aban in 2015. And what it is it's a platform that we use to bring the latest frameworks and knowledge and experience of how large global organizations are adapting to change in today's digital age. The theme for the conference is actually Agile as a strategic accelerator for public and private sector in today's digital age.
So if we look at the benefits of Agile to organizations in Ghana and Africa, what really are the benefits?
The benefits, I mean, because the nature of Agile is actually it's a principle-based approach, so it's something that works across any different industry in any different country. And if we think about it, so right now the world is changing in the way that it operates. Everything is becoming digitalized. So, you know, nowadays we've got phones, but on our phones we've got GPS, we've got music, we've got books, we've got everything on there. Banking system, you know, I know you had a conference yesterday about cybercrime as well. So everything is moving towards a digital place. Now, because of that, we need to be able to adapt to change a lot quicker so that as organizations we can reap the benefits earlier, we can make sure that we're creating the right products, we can reduce the risk and waste associated with change. And these are all the things that Agile provides, not just into the private sector, but also in the public sector as well. So governments, I'm from Nigeria, I'm not sure what the state of play is at the government level in Ghana, but in Nigeria we see a lot of waste. Even in the UK we see a lot of waste in the States, so it may be the same over here. So these are strategies and techniques and frameworks that are being used by these large organizations to actually reduce the waste and make sure they deliver more value.
Hearing that the IGP is a keynote speaker, what's he really going to talk about to fit into this whole Agile thing you're talking about?
And that's a great question. So the IGP, as you may be aware, there's a whole transformation going on with the Ghana Police Service. The vision that they've created is actually to become one of the top 10 police forces in the world. and they want to be able to serve the public. They want to also reach the number, I think it's 1 to 500 in terms of there should be one police officer to every 500 members of the country. And the whole goal is really to be able to serve the public a lot better. So there's going to be a whole transformation, top to bottom, left to right, which is looking at how to make the police force more professional, how can they respond to crime a lot quicker, how can they reduce the amount of crime that's happening, and basically be there to serve the people. And in the new IGP, you have a visionary who sees the benefit of using Agile and is actually utilising that.
So what really is he going to talk about?
Yeah, he's going to be talking about the work that's been happening. He's going to be make transparent some of the changes that are already been happening, but also the long-term vision and goals.
And so let me ask you, who are attending this conference and what are they hoping to take away with them when they attend?
Yeah, so the type of people who we're expecting will be attending will be, you know, people, civil service people, and maybe some of your ministers, people at the government level, because it's something that they should definitely know about and start implementing. We're also going to be expecting to have some of the key entrepreneurs from Ghana, some of the leading executives, CEOs of some of the large global organizations that you have present, because this information is relevant to everybody and it's happening all across the globe. And, you know, so yeah, there'll be a lot of value out of tomorrow.
Right, Shokoyade, we're grateful for your time. Thank you extremely for
Thank you so much.
coming. I'm Stephen Enti. You're still watching and listening to News at 10. We're live from the News Hub at Desawe, Kanda, and streaming on our Facebook page and on 3news.com. We have more news for you. Don't go away. Welcome back. Now, the producer price for September this year was 7.6%, up from 1.0% in August, representing a percentage point increase. Acting government statistician Ba Wadie indicated the raise was as a result of increase in petroleum and gold prices between August and September.
The producer price index rose by 7.6% between September 2016 and September 2017. Producer price inflation in August this year was 6.6% and that of September was 7.6%, translating into a 1% increase. The mining and quarrying subsector recorded the highest year-on-year producer price inflation rate of 11.2%. The manufacturing subsector recorded producer price inflation of 8.5%. Acting government statistician Ba Wadie noted the utility subsector recorded the lowest year-on-year producer inflation rate of 0.6%.
With respect to the monthly changes, the mining and quarrying subsector recorded the highest rate of 3.0%, followed by the manufacturing subsector with 1.9%. The utilities subsector recorded no change.
He attributed the 1% raise in the producer price inflation to the increase in inflation rate in the mining and quarrying as well as manufacturing sectors.
Inflation rate for petroleum subsector increased from 23.2% in August 2017 to 29.9% in September 2017 as a result of increases in petroleum prices in August 2017. And this sector accounts for about 23% of the weight for the manufacturing subsector. The increase in the mining and quarrying inflation rate from 8.3% in August 2017 to 11.2% in September 2017 was the result of increases in gold prices on the international market. We noticed an increase of about 2.9% in the gold prices on the international market between August and September 2017.
For investors, producer price inflation is an indicator to predict consumer price inflation and extremely useful in analyzing potential sales and earnings. Most increases incurred by producers and retailers will be passed on to consumers, or producers would have to cut costs by laying off workers in the extreme situation.
And a representative of Goodwill International Group, Philip Akpina Asibit, has told an Accra High Court it was not possible for the National Youth Employment Program, NYEP, to pay UNDPI because there was no contractual agreement between the two. He said if the former Minister of Youth and Sports testified that payment should be made to UNDPI, it confirms that some work was done by Goodwill International Group.
Philip Akpena Asibe told the court the child preferred on him that he deceived the ministry and NYEP by securing $65 million from World Bank was not true. According to him, the former Youth and Sports Minister Kofi Homado, in a speech and a cabinet memo, made reference to work done by Goodwill International Group. He said Kofi Homado understands the workings of the World Bank and is aware that an individual cannot directly deal with the financial institution. He also stated Kofi Homado is aware that an individual cannot approach him with a story that through his own initiative has given an amount to an institution he, Kofi Homado, oversees. He stressed Kofi Homado needed not to check, but knowing how the institutions work will throw the person out of his office. He told the court the information of the $65 million never started from him, but he was told in the meeting that information of the amount was true because the World Bank called the meeting where projects to be undertaken were listed. Sitting continues on October 26.
And that's it for News at 10 on TV3. We're also live on 3FM 92.7. Thank you very much for making time. On behalf of the crew here, good night. There is more news at 3news.com.